Okay, all right. Deepak, thanks so much for stopping by, giving us your view on the whole host of stocks. Wishing you a good holiday tomorrow and happy Holi to you, your team, and entire family. Well, let's move on then. Mithun Ashwath, managing partner of Kiva Advisors, joins us on the show. Hi, Mithun. Always good hearing your thoughts. Thanks so much for joining in. But before we get to the markets and the macros, we are searching for stock ideas, and I believe there's one such stock that's on your radar. Fill us in with more details on that, which is that one stock that you can discuss.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Nigel. I think over the last couple of months, we added to one of these ideas, a company called Trent. This is basically a Tata Group company focused on private label retail. You would be familiar with the brand Westside that they have, but they also a few years ago launched a brand called Zudio. And that is something that we think can grow very well over the next few years because the target segment that Zudio caters to is much larger. So from tier 1, they can expand to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So we actually see the company's growth being driven by the expansion in Zudio. So our sense is from the current stores that they have, about 330 stores, they could expand to about 580 stores over the next 2 years. So it's about 125 stores per year. And the revenues of Zudio on a standalone basis would be around 40% of overall revenues, which could cross over 50% in the next couple of years. So we think this is a good way to play the retail story in India. It's from a credible group, and I think they have got their act together in terms of this format.
Mithun, any other ancillary companies in the retail which catch your fancy? And hospitality is another sector where you believe the valuations, the risk reward is attractive. What's the best way to play it?
Yeah, so I think we've spoken about this earlier. We've been positive on a travel services company called Thomas Cook, and we continue to be positive on that company. Unfortunately, in the budget, there was a proposal in terms of TCS being hiked from 5 to 20% for travel operators for foreign tours. However, if one really looks at the numbers, it's only about 15 to 20% of the overall travel services business of Thomas Cook, which comes from this outbound travel tour segment. All the other parts of the business, be it Forex, be it Sterling Holidays, as well as the MICE business, are all doing very well for the company. And in the recent quarter, they broke into the black and reported almost 50 crores of operational profit. So we think this company is well poised for growth in the coming year as well.
Thomas Cook, got that. Mithun, since you mentioned Trent, and obviously when you've studied the retail market while arriving at that call, I wanted you to get your thoughts on Nykaa, if you could talk about that. Obviously, e-commerce, a different way of retailing, but at the end of the day, it is retail, right? And I mean, they've got fashion, they've got beauty. The stock has had a one-way journey, 400, today we're talking 150. Your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting, Surabhi, because when we were looking at even Trent, we were just seeing, Nykaa's valuation was similar to Trent, while, the Trent's roadmap for growth in terms of revenue growth was much more. And obviously, Nykaa's business model, revolves more on the beauty right now, and they're getting into the apparel space. But I think the online apparel space is quite crowded, while, Trent has a unique model, which is more private label. So the gross margins are much higher. And that's why we like this business compared to the online retail space, which is quite crowded.
Okay, all right. Mithun, what about the IT pack? What's the preference out there? Growth could slow down, but margins could stay protected. If you had to pick from the IT pack, what would it be, large or mid caps?
Nigel, I think the IT space has done quite well since the last couple of quarters after we saw some sort of a bottom being made. I think the apprehension was in IT that the US was going to go into a recession, Europe as well. Thankfully, I think the world economy has been buttressed by China reopening, And we actually think things will start to improve over the next few months. And some of these mid-cap IT stocks are trading at very attractive valuations. And right now, obviously, they are cautious on hiring. But I think once you get some visibility on growth, a lot of these companies will do quite well on the mid-cap IT side. One of them that we've spoken earlier as well, the company called Explio Solutions, which we are quite positive on. This company is just in the last stages of a merger with its unlisted business in India. And once this merger is through, the company will be close to 900 crores of revenues, and profits could be in the order of between 100 to 120 crores. And they have a roadmap of doubling their employee base over the next 2-3 years. So this is something that we like. It's a debt-free, cash-rich balance sheet with MNC pedigree. So that's something that we're looking at.
Mithun, any tactical plays to beat the summer heat this time? Either power or cooling appliances, ACs, anything, beverages perhaps?
Nothing comes to mind, Rima, nothing specifically that we've looked at just to play this, summer heat wave. But tactically, if you look at something that we actually like, I think play derivatives of beneficiaries of the China opening up. I think people are not taking the cognizance to this. 5% GDP growth in China is quite a big deal from the 3% that they reported last year. And we think actually several spaces, be it beneficiaries of this could be the metal space, even companies, for example, like Tata Motors, which 1/3 of their JLR sales comes from China. I think, these could be tactical plays and beneficiaries of a China opening up.
All right, Mithun, always great talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Hope you have a great festive midweek holiday, and we look forward to our next call. By the way, the market is cooling off a little bit, just about 0.6% higher, perhaps trying to lock in some of the gains. We don't trade tomorrow, the rest of the world does. So maybe just digesting some of the good times that we've had since Friday. Quick break on that note. We'll come back on the other side and we'll get you a check on what the dealing rooms are chatting about today. Nimesh joins in with D Street Chatter, and then, of course, the trading calls for the last half hour.